And
All
then
right, we
hot.
are
This meeting is being recorded by the host or a participant.
Okay,
You want me
So
to make you also co-host?
yes.
Let me do that. Make co-host.
I don't know if I need to do that, but
I don't think you need to do anything.
okay. Anyway, I'm gonna share my screen and I'm going to, today our thing is gonna be on filters and how I use filters, but also I'm gonna show a video. It's gonna be about 8 minutes long and it's gonna give you a brief, just introduction about the filters and then
Is this,
we'll
Linda, is this filters on your camera or filters in Lightroom?
filters in
or-
filters in Photoshop.
Photoshop. Okay, great.
Okay, and so anyway, I'm gonna go on and share screen and we will get where. Okay, let's see, we'll get there.
Window Zoom meeting.
You guys see my screen yet?
Mine, it says yes.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, I'm gonna start the video and hopefully you can hear it.
It's Justin O'D Show, and welcome to
Do you hear the
first episode of
sound?
Every Filter in
Yeah,
Photoshop
we can hear it.
Explained. This is a series where I'm going to take you through the filter menu and show you what each folder does step by step and examples. So I've got a photo open, and you'll notice a lot of times when you open a photo, it's like locked as the background layer. One concept that's really good to know in Photoshop is the concept of smart filters. So if you ever go to filter, convert for smart filters, you'll notice that it'll turn your layer into a smart object, which you can also always just right click and convert to a smart object as well. But now if I ever add a filter on it, so let's just say I add a blur, Gaussian blur. If I ever add a filter onto that, you'll see that all of my filters are under the smart filter section. So I can add other things as well. Like I can add distortions maybe, and you'll see they all kind of stack up and arrange, and I can rearrange them. Let's say I wanted the ripple first, or the blur first. And you can also double click on any of these sliders and adjust the strength and opacity of the filter and even the blending mode of the filter. So in this way, you can go back and forth. You can hide stuff without destroying your original photo. And also it gives you a layer mask to work with. So let's say I only wanted all of those effects to appear on the left half of my photo. I can go to a black and white gradient and
Window Zoom meeting.
make sure I have that smart filter white mask selected. And if I add that black and white gradient, you'll see everything that's black,
Video port container.
everything that's white gets filtered. And that's just how layer masks work on any layer. Very important thing to note. And in this way, you have tons of flexibility all on one layer without even destroying or altering the original photo. You don't have to undo a bunch of stuff if you want to go back. Some other things to note in the filter gallery is you have your traditional folders of filters. So all the standard blurs, distortions, sharpens, but you also have a few things up here. Some of these are like their own plugins and their own whole menus, such as the camera raw filter. This is like if you ever open a photo that was shot in raw format on your camera, it'll allow you to adjust the exposure,
Come here.
all that. So it's kind of like its
Come
own
here,
little
Cosette.
menu. And you also have the lens correction,
Who's that?
wide angles,
Yeah,
some
mute.
more lens corrective type things. And then Liquify is its own whole thing as well. You have all the liquefaction tools where you can smudge and liquefy your photo.
Get out.
You have the filter gallery. So this is where they've kind of thrown in a bunch of the artistic type of folders all in this gallery. And a lot of these are pretty self-explanatory visually, but I'll do an episode on that next. Lastly, you'll see that whatever the last filter you used will always show up here as the most recent. That can come in handy, for example, if you added a little bit of blur and you want to just repeat a couple times for some extra strength until you're satisfied. So that's a brief introduction to Photoshop filters and how to apply them. In the next videos, I'm going to actually go through each of the gallery, Liquify, and all these folders and show you examples and ways to use them and what the different filters do. So you'll be able to find all these videos in a playlist on my channel, and you can subscribe to my channel here on YouTube to stay tuned for all of my new videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you over in the next episode where we cover the filter gallery.
Okay, we're gonna do the filter gallery.
Hi,
and
my
then-
name is Justin O'D Show, and in this episode of Every Filter in Photoshop Explained, we're going to be taking a look at the filter gallery, starting with the artistic filters. So I've chosen a portrait photo for this specifically because we have some really nice, cool ones, like Cutout is a standout one where you can take your original image and make it look like a cutout. And using the filter gallery, you always have the option to do a few different adjustments. So number of levels, I could choose 1 all the way up to 8. And you'll see that I'll slowly add more and more layers of color. However, if I keep it something simplistic like 3, we almost get a cool pop art effect without even having to do much work. And then you also have edge simplicity, how much like noise and texture versus just simple shapes it is. And fidelity as well is almost like definition and sharpness of those edges. So this could be great for poster designs, flyer designs, and all different kind of things where it looks like this might have taken a lot more work than it is, but we just had a good starting photo with a clean background and applied a simple artistic filter onto it. Another thing with the filter gallery is that you can always stack effects on top of each other. So I could have this cutout effect, and then I could hit this plus button here for a new effect layer, and I could choose like a film grain as well. So I could do 2 filter gallery effects on top of each other. And the order in which they're here is the order in which they're applied, so top to bottom. So if I take that film grain and actually put it below the cutout, now we get a different effect going on because the cutout is happening after the film grain. So in this way, we could stack multiple effects. However, if I ever press OK on the filter, you'll see that it's all one filter. And let's just say, for example, I undo that and was working with smart filters like we talked about in the intro episode to this playlist. And I did those same effects. In this case, even under the smart filters, all of the filter gallery is just considered one effect that you did inside of the filter gallery. So in that way, it's a little different than the ones that are individually in the folders, but you can still blend and change the opacity if it is a smart filter. And if you ever double click that filter gallery, you can go back and hide, delete, or rearrange effects. So some other things in the filter gallery, aside from the cutout, here on a different photo example, is just different ways to make it look like it was drawn either with colored pencils or different brushes, different paint application techniques. Let me delete that cutout effect in general and just work on the original photo. But we see we could change it to different styles of art, like a fresco painting or a palette knife or just daubs of paint. And depending on the different effect that you use, there's always going to be slightly different parameters that you can adjust. Another way you can choose effects is just with this drop-down menu. You can kind of see everything in the filter gallery throughout all the folders. But there's some different useful ones tucked away in here, like I showed you, especially with the cutout. So rather than have a separate episode for every single effect in the filter gallery, you can kind of just get an idea as I flip through them here, the different folders, like here's different types of brush strokes. There's its own little distort folder with different kinds of distortions, especially like this glass distortion can be interesting. It's even for photos or text or whatever. Add some glass distortion and refraction and rippling. You do ocean rippling. Then there's also sketch, which will turn your photo black and white. One really cool one in here is the halftone pattern. You can see this can be useful to almost get like that comic book texture or those halftone dots. And it turns everything black and white. And remember, you can always press OK on these and then go on to add further adjustments. Like if I did do this black and white thing and then added a gradient map, for example, I could apply custom gradients on that black and white and get unique type of art and graphics from these combinations. And remember, whenever you're dealing with black and white, you can also use that information to be great as layer masks, like I showed you in the first episode, where black will hide and white will reveal whatever effects are on the layer mask. So you have some more sketch type of effects. A lot of these do give it black and white looks, but you also have water paper there. There's only one in the stylized, which is glowing edges. A lot of these have similar aspects or are almost redundant with other filters, like the find edges filter, which we'll see in a later episode, but they're still in here. And then texture could be a really useful one for applying different types of texture, grain, especially like the tiles, patchwork, or stained glass. These can be interesting. You can increase the cell size and combine these to get unique results. So that's the filter gallery. In the next episode of the series, I'm going to kind of jump over the wide angle, and I've already done a tutorial on Camera Raw itself. So we're going to jump into the liquify tool, which I think is important, and then we'll jump
Okay.
straight into the folders. So
Okay.
thank you so much for watching. My name is Justin Odisho. You can find all of the episodes of this series in a playlist on my channel. And I'll see you over in the next episode where we cover the liquify tool.
Okay, I'm gonna stop on that one. And I'll give you guys the thing to the playlist. Okay.
Wow.
So now let me get out of this part and I'm gonna figure out where I'm at. Nope, let's get out of here. Okay, get out of that. Now find my way back to, oh, let's put you up here. Okay,
That was good, Linda.
all right. Y'all learning what I'm learning.
Yeah. that's good.
Okay, let me put it back over here. Alrighty, now, so, well, this is great. Now we have the Photoshop thing. Let me just open up. Interesting. All right, I'm gonna go pull something up. I'll pull up a folder. All right. Can somebody choose an image, one of these images here that they might want to work with? Can you see it?
Too small.
Try the
Teeny
third
tiny.
one-
Which one?
Third one in from
Third
the
one in?
left. Yeah.
Okay, we'll open that one up. Okay, that was during our Christmas time when we were. Okay. So, okay. When I do use the filters, I love color. So I work with color. Anyway, I would probably try to enhance the colors, but this one I'm gonna leave the colors just the way they are. So we'll just go just to the filter tool. What am I? Huh? Oh, I thought someone said something. Okay, so this would be where the filter gallery is. And we can take it to the filter gallery and start seeing some of the different effects. And if you see something you might want to stop with and work with. That one's too dark. That's gonna be dark. Oh, not really.
Oh. So you're clicking on different filters now.
These are all the different filters. Now, there are more filters to go to do. Now, this distort's different than the one that I use. That's a different distort. But what I would do with this was just try to find out what texture or whatever I would want to play with. Personally, I wanted to go back to what we had. Okay. But anyway, these are just different filters that we can try. I'm gonna jump out of this one. Then after you try to find out what texture or whatever you want, whatever effect you want to work with, then you can come down to, I come down here to the distorts where I come down, where we have the blur, we have gallery and all these different ones. I come down to the distort one. Well, come again. And I come down to the polar effects. Between the polar effects, shear, spiralize, or however you say that, and twirl. These are some that I like to work with. So just a quick idea of what the polar effects, polar coordinates does. it would do something like this to your, and what I found was when you
Oh.
rotate it, you can get different effects.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Ty.
Oh, this is definitely different.
Yes, I guess.
If I rotate it, see if we rotate it
You too, thank you very much.
80 degrees,
Okay, bye-bye.
it can look different. And if you do the polar effects again, just come here to polar effects. Oh, shoot. Need room. Polar coordinates again. It kind of folds more color into each other. You end up with different effects.
Ooh,
You know.
which one is this?
You've seen my stuff. This was at the Christmas window that we started with,
Okay,
using polar coordinates twice, really. I did a polar coordinates and then I rotated it 180 degrees, I think. And then I did another polar coordinates.
oh, wow.
Wow, that's pretty amazing, Linda.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what the machine does.
Mm.
Oh,
Well,
no, what
someone has
happened?
to tell the machine.
Okay, well, I'll come back work. There we go. Yeah. But no, these are the kind of effects that you get. Now, I also would add to color, like I like this blue here. And I would say like I would like to have more blue in this picture, although this picture will be different. But I can maybe, let's see, add okay, I'm gonna add a border. So come down here to canvas size. And I'll add just like an inch border. So I'll change a 42 to a 43. And I'll change the 56 to a 57. So 57. Okay, and I want to use blue. So I'll grab this blue here. This one, okay. And I'll say okay, and then I'll say okay here, and it'll give me a little blue border around the edge. But now if I do polar coordinates, if I go back and do the polar coordinates, it's going to bring some blue into my picture. Just to see what happens. Distort. And I'm just going to say okay, but you can, on the polar coordinates, you can move these dials, move these to change where it makes a difference.
Mhm.
But
Oh,
now
wow.
adding some blue. And basically what I'm doing, I'm painting with the colors that's in the picture.
Mhm. Wow.
Pretty cool.
Yeah,
Huh.
so anyway, so let's do another one. Let's pick another picture. And I'm gonna save as and put that out in my folder. Okay, we'll put it in there. Okay. All right, let's choose another one. I'm gonna just start over. Oh, now that comes back. Okay, you choose one of these, another one of these pictures here, and we can do one together. You guys can contribute to what you want to do. Here's 1, 2, 3. We did this one, and that's what we had from this picture to that one.
Let's do the flowers.
The flowers,
Sure.
Yes,
okay. All right,
Wow.
Oh, that's beautiful.
this was one of my pictures I entered into the Creative Arts Show years ago.
Hmm.
And all right, So now, the colors are bright and brilliant. So I'm not gonna do anything to try to enhance the colors. I'll just leave them the way they are. And
Mhm.
so then go to the filter. And then what do you want to try to do to it?
Let's do that polarized distortion.
Okay, polar coordinates. Okay, well now
Oh.
they have this up here, but I'll
Uh-huh.
kind of distort. Polar coordinates.
Wow.
Wow.
That's pretty.
Yeah.
And you can just leave that way, or you can continue doing more.
Go keep do, what would you do, Linda, if that was on your desktop? And what's your next choice?
Well, I might try polar coordinates one more time, and if it's
Okay.
too much, then I would back off and then do it again.
Oh, that's pretty fun. Still has the flower on each side.
I can
You
start.
can even just clone things and kind of mush that keyhole in the middle close if you wanted.
Yeah, what it does is that, it comes from, I guess it comes from this way and it comes from that way, and it just kind of, kneads itself into each other, into the middle. Eventually, all these colors will disappear and this white will take over unless I add more color around the outsides.
Oh.
So if we do another distort,
Sure.
it blends, it does make a new effect, and it starts giving the image of faces facing each other.
Oh, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
You can go with that, or you can start to add more colors on the outside to do that.
Hmm.
Other things you can do, I was talking about the other tools besides the polar coordinates. I would try, and I don't know what we're gonna get, but with the distort, there was another thing with shear and spiralize. Now, this would turn this into, how do you say the word sphere,
I think it's spiralized.
yeah, it would turn it into a globe-like effect.
Okay.
Okay, but now we go to one of the other tools. We'll go to and we'll do the shear and see what happens with that. Shear gives me this line in the middle. Now, Steve, you know all about that. I have no clue what I'm doing, but anyway, you can start to move and make some changes. So I will move this thing a little bit that way and see what we
Ooh.
do that, and then we'll say okay. So now we have this effect. And then let's do a polar coordinates now and see what we get.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Interesting.
Very
Yeah.
different from the first picture.
Oh, but you end up something really wild.
Man, how fun.
And we can rotate this, and then, you can start grabbing more. I love these colors, you can just add
Yeah.
more colors on the outsides, and,
Linda, was the original flower shot, were those the colors of the flowers, or did you make the colors for the flowers?
those were the colors of the flowers, and probably my final piece, I probably enhanced it, but no, those
Mhm.
were the colors of the
Okay.
flowers. They were beautiful flowers to begin with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wow.
Linda, just a comment on enhancing. I tried enhancing some photos one time and they blew up the file size from like 45 megabytes to 300 and some megabytes.
Mhm.
And my computer ended up getting all filled up with not very many photos. Do you use a external hard drive or memory
What-
to keep all this stuff?
I'll tell you, because I was doing this presentation today, this is really my first couple of days of using Photoshop CC. I
Mhm.
have been using my old, what do you call it? Microsoft, the Surface,
Elements?
my Surface Pro. And yes, my hard drive would get filled up and I'd have to empty, dump all my stuff off my hard drive and put it onto an external drive so I can make room to play again.
Well, how about this idea? And Doug and Steve, if you think I'm not going up the right tree, let me know. You can go into image, go up to image, Linda, and your,
Okay,
and then it will say image size. So midway down, go to image size. There you go. And now you can make that a smaller file, because we don't need a 300 megabyte file. So you can just reduce the maybe the resolution doesn't have to be 300. You could, especially because if you're going to blow it up to a board size, it should probably be 300. But if you're going to have it just on your screen, 80 is fine, and that will reduce your size as well. Any other ideas from you guys? Steve or Doug? Did they leave?
Yes, I have something to say.
Okay.
Let's go back and set it at 300 first. Back
Okay,
to
okay.
300.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do anything. You guys tell me what to do.
Yeah,
So
set
I'll put it-
resolution to
I'll
300.
put it at
Set the
300.
resolution 300. Now go up where it says dimensions. Oh,
You got to
Okay.
go back into
Get
that
back.
image.
Oh, go back in there.
Yeah, image and then image size. There you go.
okay. It
Okay.
says dimensions 6,000, looks 5,400 by 3,600. If you're going to be showing this on Facebook, all electronically, the long side, the best resolution you'll get on the long side is 2040. Okay, so you can see that down arrow there, that I call them carrots. Well, that just tells you, okay. Now, how do you get it to 2040? I always set it. I've never done it in Photoshop, but I'm sure Doug knows how. But I set that the 2040 in Lightroom to save them at that. And then if I'm going to make a big print or something, I'll make another JPEG with a larger, a bigger long edge. Now you can see here, you can, instead of, the problem with going down to 720 is if you go to make a slideshow and do a presentation, you'll get really tiny pictures when you want to fill the screen. But you could change it to say, right now, let's change it to something, say 200. Don't go all the way to 72 on the resolution. The resolution, go down, go
It's
down.
where we put it 300, go down to there. Okay, change that now.
Is it
Change
200?
that,
What about that box that says fit to original size? Does that make any difference? So change this to 200.
Well, yeah, let's look at that.
Oh, that said custom now.
Yeah, see the carrot? See
All
the-
right.
see the- Go to the options.
And look at the
Now-
dimension sizes changed.
now where it says width 18 inches,
Yeah,
width, go over where it says inches and change that to pixels,
oh,
Pixels?
and,
Oh,
and
okay.
put in for the width 2040. Type 2040 now. It's already highlighted. You
It's
don't have
already
to move
there.
your mouse. You can type.
Oh.
Type just start typing 2040.
2040. Okay,
All right, now say okay.
all right.
Okay.
oh, yeah.
Uh, now, when you
So
put that
let's-
on Facebook or something, it's going to fill the screen. It's more
Right.
than adequate.
So how do we check now? How do we check now to see what the image size is?
Yeah, let's see how many megapixels it is. I forgot to notice what it was before. Image
Megabytes.
size. It's 70. What's that? I can't read. It's so small.
Oh, 7.194 megapixels.
That's pretty small.
So
Uh, now hit the OK. Let's hit the OK. Go up at the top where it says view. View, keep going right there and put fit on screen, first of all.
Oh.
And the other, go back to view again. And then it says, go down to print size
Oh,
or actual size. Let's try print size first. Keep going down,
I see.
right there.
Whoa, is that the size? No, what does that say? That's the size it's gonna
Well,
be?
I've had trouble getting this to make any sense. I don't believe that's the actual print size unless you turn on the rulers. So click on view again. And go to actual size. Down, just below print. Actual size.
Okay,
And then under, Doug, where do you turn on the rulers? Is that under Windows
A
or View?
window, I believe.
Okay, click on Window. You can't see my mouse, can you? All right, go down, keep going. Let's see here.
Interesting.
Uh,
How about view?
Whoa,
I don't see it there. So go back to view,
okay,
click on view. And
Guides.
guides?
yeah,
Rulers right there, right above
Yeah.
that, two above it. There you go.
rulers. Click on rulers.
And they'll tell us what size it is?
Well, that'll show you the rulers.
Should have the
and
numbers right across the top and the
it's
side
a
on the
little bit
left hand
hard to
side.
see,
That's
but
in inches,
this
inches.
tells you it's approximately
10 to
uh,
10 inches
10
long?
across by 7 downs. So
Yeah.
Kevin,
7 by
does this
10.
help you figure out how to reduce those images? Kevin,
Pardon me?
does this help you see how you can reduce the size of the images? You don't have 300.
Yes, but for me, it was like, I didn't realize that they were that big.
Yeah,
This
But
is
now-
like a year ago when I was doing this.
yeah, no, I've had that
And,
surprise too.
Yeah.
So now I don't enhance anything. It's,
Oh, but now you can, because you see how you can keep your image sizes a reasonable capacity. So you can be able to enhance all you want now.
however,
oh,
the enhancement's only going to help you if you're going to print. It,
Yeah, I realized I needed to, well, I went out and shot some pictures of birds.
Mhm.
And I think this is when I was with Steve at Bolsa Chica. We shot a bunch of birds. And I just learned this enhance thing. So I clicked all my photos, which was like 60 or 70 photos, and hit enhance all.
oh,
Oh,
Oh, wow.
So I was like, and then I worked with them, right? I didn't know. So I worked with them.
And then your computer
And-
was a lot heavier after that. Mike.
Oh, geez. Well, I didn't realize it.
Yeah,
But
no.
then when 6 months later, I'm going through and I can't do anything. And it says your computer's full. I'm like, come on, I don't even have 10,000 pictures on here yet. It should hold that.
yeah, yeah.
And so I had to go through and look at what my memory was and like, well, what do you have stored? And pictures was like 80% of the stuff I had in there. I'm like, what?
I know, I've been there. I've done exactly the same thing you have. And that's when you learn, oh, there's gotta be another way.
Yeah, generally that enhanced feature, Kevin, is if you have a low resolution or a small print, something, maybe like 2400 on the long side and 1800 on the short side. The whole purpose of enhancing is to make it larger and give it a little more detail if you were going to try and blow it up into an 8x10 print or 11x14 print. You're starting off with your Sony at about 45 megapixels for your image size. So that the need to use the enhanced feature isn't really there. You're already starting with a very large image.
Yeah, and I've learned that now, and my Sony's got like 61 megapixels, just to
Mhm.
brag, but yeah, I don't use enhanced. No, I think we've had this discussion before. Maybe Doug explained it to me before. So yeah, I'm staying away from enhanced right now, unless I pick something that I want to put on my living room wall or something. And
Yeah, well, I mean, just running the whole thing through all those enhancements, that's where you kind of went off.
I did, yeah.
railed.
Yeah,
I'd like to give an example here. Can you see my screen?
Video port
Oh,
continued.
so
No, I can
No.
still see Linda's.
you still want
Oh.
to still see my screen. I'm gonna, one last
Yeah.
thing, I'm gonna stop sharing. But one
Okay.
last thing I'll do is, on this picture here, I would have added, another white border to give me
Mhm.
some more white down here at the bottom.
More- Yeah, a little more breathing room. That's good.
So I'm gonna stop sharing screen so we can see your screen.
Okay, yeah, I want to show,
Menu open. Standard, checked.
can you see it?
Yes.
Yeah,
All right.
Window
These
post
are pictures I
attendee,
took on the
Zoom,
last day of
Microsoft
January.
Edge. Close.
And the DNG is the raw files, which are the larger files. And my sensor is around 45, 47 megapixels. And you can see the file size over here. The largest one is, the largest raw file is around 150 or 100. No, that's a TIFF. When I make it a TIFF, that means I've taken it to Photoshop, done and created layers and stuff. So that's obviously going to be a larger file. So then when I convert them to JPEG, you can see the file size here. Look at that.
mhm.
2.8, 2.4 megabyte. And these are all set with a 2040. Let me get this thing out of the way. Okay. Zoom is in my way. All right, so you can see the view on screen. You saw that was less than 10 megabyte. Quick look, here we go. Oh, scam likely. Okay. Now, for on the screen, I think that's pretty good.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And oh, it says over here that it's here's the details on it. Let's wait a minute, close that. Yeah. So now it's 2040 by 1360, where I've set the long edge to be 2040. I'm using 300 resolution. Let's see, I'm looking, what does it show the, oh yeah, it's 2.8 megabytes as a JPEG. Does that help answer your questions about file size?
I just don't know how you guys do what you do and do in the layers and all this other stuff and not have a full computer. My problem has been a full computer. And now now that I'm doing the CC part of it, I'm gonna try to learn how to use the layers.
Well, do you have an external hard drive?
Yes, I do. I have an external and it did hook up this time to my iMac.
Okay, well, you start using that for storage. Don't keep it on your computer,
Uh-huh.
which is different than just a,
well, even though it's a external, it will fill up.
yeah, you get another one. Or
Oh,
Ditch-
geez.
go clean some house
Yeah.
in there and download what you don't need. I mean, it's like,
Yeah, for me, I've got to do some housekeeping. I'm learning how to use X when I bring my photos in the first place, the very first day in Lightroom, and then delete the rejected. So
yeah,
that's where it starts.
it starts
You
there.
know,
You gotta start somewhere.
You-
Gotta
you
clean the
take
dresser
90
drawers
photos
first.
and you only process 2 of them.
Yeah,
The rest of them are pretty much trash.
that's how we
All
all,
right.
That's
I
a
have a
good
question.
point. being organized, having a plan, not having duplicates all over the place. Don't store things on your desktop. I've said that 1,000 times, and how many people are doing it? Be honest.
Well, okay, but I store certain things on my desktop. I've got receipts that I don't want the paper receipt, but I don't want to get rid of it. So if it's coming in Amazon, then I know once it comes, I can ditch it. I've got some things with the move going on and I want to go find it. I know I'm going to need it in 2 days, but that's my organizational space. But I don't have that. I don't have what I used to have on there.
Well,
And I
that's
clean
good.
that up.
I can understand that, and I occasionally will do it like a screenshot and put it on my desktop because I'm going to send it as a message, and then as soon as it's sent, I delete it. So,
But yeah, storing it on, I found that on my great big Mac, when you first saw it, I had the whole screen was stuff, and that just made him cry. I didn't know I was going to make Steve Grove cry in the first 6 months I knew him, but I did. And he came up from the table and he goes, "How can you live like this?" And I'm like, "Fine."
but we got.
Everybody's got
it
their
was-
lifestyle.
Yep.
I spent
Better.
I spent a lot of time with Amy, and she's got it nailed now. So I hope she intends to pay it forward.
Yes. Absolutely.
So I have a question. Can you change the size in Lightroom as well as Photoshop?
Yes, you can.
Oh, okay.
Do we have time? I can give you a quick demo.
Good.
It's 4:00 now. Yay or nay?
You
Yeah.
promise it's quick?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes,
get
yes.
on, giddy up, let's
Be
do it.
quick.
I've got to
Okay.
go, everybody.
Okay,
Thank you.
bye.
Okay, take care, Kevin.
Let's get rid of this distraction here. Okay,
Wow.
let's go to Lightroom. Let's get rid of let's just pick any picture. How about this one?
That's fine.
All right, so I want to go to develop.
Uh-huh.
Okay, now when I go to, I can resave, well, it's already a JPEG, but if I go File, Export, I go down here on File Settings, and I have several options. I can resize to fit the long edge at 2040. That's the one I use, but you also have,
Why do you use 2040? Where did that number come
because
from?
yeah, that's the number of pixels that are available on your screen.
Okay,
That's what Lightroom takes when they put up an image.
ah,
I'm sorry, not Lightroom, but Facebook.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, now image sizing. There are, see, you could also choose dimensions. I picked long edge. You can do width and height, dimensions, short edge, megapixels, percentage. All these will resize the image.
Okay.
Okay, that was the quick version.
But does that save it when you change it there?
Yeah.
Isn't that for export?
It exports it as a JPEG, but remember, Lightroom never changes your original image. It just now has added a set of notes for that image, and it will rename it to a different name because you did that, or
Okay.
you can choose to do that. So you have let's say you have one that you're going to make a 20 by 30 for a gallery, and you'll save that under a slightly different name than the one you saved for Facebook. And they can be in you don't even have to create a virtual copy. Now we can really
That's
go
not
down
a
a
short
tangent here. I'm
answer.
going to
Okay,
stop for now.
don't do that, but or
Yeah.
you go into export and do it in export.
Yeah, Amy, I think what he's trying to say is that when that image comes out of the adjustments you just made as far as resolution and size, your JPEG version will be in that size on your hard drive.
Yeah.
But you have to export it. This is
You
just putting a
export
so now if I don't export it right then, does that save that? So when I go to export it, it's already set?
No, so-
It'll be saved as part of the original Lightroom version or the XT file. Doesn't change the original folder or file at all.
Okay, but it's
When
not
you
like the
export
notes
it
that,
with the new dimensions, those new dimensions stay with the image when it's saved on your hard drive.
okay,
When
great.
you're in develop mode, you can export it at one setting, go back to develop, export it at a second setting, go back to develop, export as a black and white. Then later you can go back to develop, find that image and go over to history and pick on which history state you want to see on your screen.
Okay, good.
Okay?
All right. Got it. Okay, I gotta
Later,
run
Shane.
myself. So Linda, thank you very much. That was very enlightening.
Well, thank you. I
The
learned.
video
something
was
too.
really good.
Yeah.
Okay, I will be
Yeah.
posting that whole playlist in our thing. Anyway, the challenge is to play with filters.
Okay, we will do.
All
We'll
right.
do it.